Great.
It's time.
Good morning. We're live with episode 154 of umbraCoffee, and of course, we don't have to seek out our guests too much in December because 24 Days in Umbraco has started, and we have the first author for the series this year. Dennis, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Great to be here.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, then you share some insights.
Okay, maybe we can explain, because so Marcin is not in his usual place, and he is at his in-laws' house because they've got some exciting things happening in the next few weeks. And Dennis, you've had some exciting things happen. Well, you've been off for 6 months, right?
Yeah, this is the first time in front of a computer for 6 months. I'm on a paternity leave with my little daughter.
Exciting.
Who is asleep in the other room right now, I'm hoping.
Exciting. We were joking that you've been in like an Umbraco coma for 6 months. You've not really been involved.
Yeah. I followed like the news and Twitter and such, but I haven't had a moment, tried anything hands-on. So a lot of things new I haven't tried, like the block edit and core. So it's going to be exciting to come back in January.
And yet you still managed to write a 24 Days in Umbraco article.
Yeah, on my phone.
Yeah, we've had some insights about this process, but it was really good. It was a nice story to kick off the whole series this year, because it's about your contributions and the way how to contribute to the project. And you were awarded twice with the Umbraco MVP award, and you've been doing a lot of also blog posts and interesting stuff. So it is really exciting to come back after this kind of break and see how the whole ecosystem, how the whole community evolved and changed. So would you add anything else to your article? How it all was combined all together?
Yeah, the idea was that you kind of gather like the low hanging fruit of Umbraco pull request you could make if you're completely new to Umbraco or never done a pull request and you wanted to get that shiny badge on your profile on our so sometimes it could be hard to kind of find out what to do, so I was thinking of, like, always when you're introducing a new developer in a project, you always have these kind of low-hanging fruit that's kind of easy to pick up without any much context, and you can just pick them up and get the ball rolling before you jump on the bigger things. So that was kind of my idea with the blog posts. Yeah.
Speaking about daughters.
Yeah. So once you have that first pull request under your belt, then you can jump on the bigger things.
That's really nice. A really nice way of putting it, because I think I've always said that actually contributing to open source, and specifically Umbraco, getting to know the code base, really helps you evolve as a developer and learn some new skills, learn how the whole system hangs together, and you can go on to doing bigger pull requests. You can do maybe extensions like custom plugins or something for clients in your own work when you start to learn about how it all hangs together. That getting that first pull request out, it's like ripping the band-aid off. Just got to get the pain out of the way, get your pull request in there, and you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. So we've been all enjoying the first 4 days of 24 days, and it's a lot of interesting things coming next. So I assume everyone here and everyone out there will be having a busy times catching up on everything. As usual, we are expecting a lot of insights and new use cases of Umbraco products. We've been teased with some kind of information flying around that there will be some posts about hardcore use cases, also some of the insights from the core teams and Umbraco teams, community teams. So it will be really, really exciting. So it's good to see it. Good to see your input on the start of this series. and yeah, keep your stuff up to date with everything new.
I'm incredibly impressed you managed to write that from a phone. That's absolutely unbelievable. And
but we've been just talking, Callum. We've been just talking before about speech to text functionalities of the phones, and I was literally amazed by that yesterday. I wrote a couple Slack responses and a couple emails using just lying in the bed, speaking to my phone. So yeah, it is possible. So we will see if it's possible to code using these techniques as well. That would be. I know it is possible, but it's.
I wrote the whole thing on my daughter's naps. So I was writing it one-handed on my phone when she was sleeping. It worked. So I couldn't use the text, speech to text, but then I would wake her up.
You should have included a selfie or something of that. I'm sure people would have loved to have seen your work setup.
Yeah, that's right. Right now we can all say that impossible is nothing, and there is no excuses to not write articles and not write blog posts.
Let's just quickly shout out the other the other 3 articles that we had from this week. Of course, Dennis, yours was a fantastic way to kick this off, but we had a great article from Dan Booth about his approach to building multilingual sites in Umbraco 8. And then we had a double bill of hardcore posts. Emmy from Australia, he's creating a Umbraco hardcore powered .NET 5 site. So that's really kind of bleeding edge, given that .NET 5 has been out, 2-3 weeks? In general availability, and then a hardcore with Next.js today from Bjørn. So really good start. We're only 4 days in. 20 more days to go.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this multilingual one because I think many developers and many agencies and companies struggled with setting up the new way of multilingual, especially in terms of integrating it outside of just configuring in the back office. And it's good to see this kind of really in-depth description how it can be done, what are the challenges, what are the decisions to be made with that. That's so far probably something what I found the most useful, because we've been doing it, but it's great to see also that, as you've said, kind of cutting edge technology is being applied to that, because it is there, we can use it, and all of those articles just proves that, yeah, it is possible and how to do it.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. It's nice to read about the one-to-one or one-to-many with the multilingual sites, because that's usually, when you're discussing with the client, like you always have to clear that up before, so you make sure you build the right thing.
Yeah.
As they have one view on what multilingual is, and we have another. So it was really good blog post.
Maybe in the context of Christmas and December, we can talk about the Secret Santa, which subscriptions are ending today.
You have 20 minutes. You literally have a 20-minute warning right now. If you want to take part in the Umbraco Secret Santa, go to Umbraco, umbracosanta.com, umbracosecretsanta.com. Fill in the form now. You literally have 20 minutes. Otherwise, you'll have no opportunity. And we're going to keep reminding you throughout this episode. Keep going to that link. Yesterday, Steve, who organizes this, shared some stats. I don't know how up to date these are, but as it stood yesterday, 60% from the UK, 15% from Denmark, 5% from Belgium, 5% from Netherlands, and then the remaining 15% from elsewhere. It would be great to see some other people in there. Sweden, Norway. I don't know where else. Maybe Maybe some Umbraco developers we don't normally get to see. Wouldn't it be awesome if we had some people from India or France? There is a few Umbraco developers in France.
Yeah, and I've shared it last week that it don't need to be a physical shipped product. It can be a digital asset, some kind of basically anything. It can be shipped anyhow, and it's always good to participate. So yeah, everyone who's watching it and didn't subscribe yet and wants to participate in something cool, you can hide your address and let Steve and his great team handle it for you, and have a great surprise in the Christmas period made by someone else who will be your match from the Umbraco community. That's probably the most exciting part, to get matched to someone, because that's
Steve confirms that they had 3 signups from India last night, which is really good, really cool. So, yeah, sign up. You got 19 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Cool. So maybe jump to the releases this week, because it was also a week full of releases and upgrades from Umbraco, starting from 8.10 release candidate. And let me just share it with you. I will just find the correct
So
tab.
this is the first release candidate on the new release schedule. So the new release schedule being they're going to do a minor release every 6 weeks. So 8.10 is that first one. We get a release candidate 2 weeks before the release, and then a period of time to test it. So the targeted release for this is the 17th of December, just before Christmas, Thursday, which is pretty cool. And it contains a whole bunch of fixes for accessibility, some improvements to the block list. You can now have templated strings, properly templated strings in the labels with access to the settings on a block, and an overhaul to the preview function, which having used Umbraco 8 quite a lot, I didn't think was a problem, but apparently it needed improving. So it's been improved.
Something is broken with my sharing, but Callum, you greatly follow up with everything out there. I was trying to scroll. Oh, there is some glitch on the site which was causing the issue. The GIFs, probably. But yeah, probably that's all. But what I like the most as well is like the information about breaking changes again, and also about known issues and direct links to what is already discovered as an issue and is going to be fixed within this release candidate. And of course, as always, if something is broken, we can all report that and make it fixed, hopefully before the proper release. 2 weeks is a lot of time if someone is just testing it. So yeah, that's great to see. And everyone who wants to just play on and get some hands-on in 8.10, just do it and report issues, make them all fixed.
I guess because if you've been away for 6 months, Dennis, you've probably not had the pleasure of all of the new Umbraco 8 versions. I mean, what was the last version you would have worked with? 8.5, 8.4 maybe?
8.4, I think. It's probably a bit so mostly I'm very eager to try the Blocklist editor. I really want to play with that. I've always loved nested content. I think I said to Matt that nested content made my life 3% better. So maybe let's see what the Blocklist editor maybe makes my life 5% better. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a slightly different experience, nested content, but it's definitely a really great thing to have in the CMS. One of my team this week had their first interaction with the block list and said, "Oh, this is really cool. This is really slick. It feels really nice to work with." So, hopefully, as we get it in front of more editors, more users, we get feedback, iterate it, evolve it, can do some cool experiences. And I've not yet gone all in on fully customizing the experience, but you've got all those options there, so you can create like inline editing experiences, all of that jazz. I've not done it, but maybe a Christmas break hacking session or something.
Yeah, but what you said is good that we have a choice. That's the power, and we can tailor it to our own needs. And still, there are some rooms for using even simple RTEs or property-based, data-driven implementations. For example, for hardcore and headless approaches. So it's still a great set of choices, and yeah, as you've said, that's exciting. And also, speaking about this, I had a really nice Twitter thread this week about abandoned projects and things thrown out to the recycle bins.
What can you tell us what's happened, Marcin? You were saying on Twitter, "Oh, what happens when hands up who's ever had a project canned at the last minute?" And I can safely say I've worked on one of those where you get to like 2 weeks before delivery and the client's like, "Oh yeah, we kind of changed our mind," or people said client gets acquired, they can't they don't want the site anymore.
Yeah, it wasn't that massive as some of those responses in the thread about abandoned projects for hundreds of thousands spent on it. But it was like a 3 to 4 weeks work on some packages, migrations, and extensions, and some hacking around V8 ways of doing things, to then realize that the solution which we ended up with is not efficient enough, not performant enough, and not good for the implementation. and we've ended up with some simple web configuration doing the same result, which the whole approach was doing. But it wasn't easy to throw it all away. And everyone was just keeping it. No, please don't throw it off. We will use it. This kind of feeling. But yeah, right now it's a relief, right? It's working. If it's working, it's good to realize and not spend more time with that. And I compared it to breaking up with the girlfriend in the past. Like, it's always like it's always too late. It's always too late. But when you realize that, that's a good decision at the end, right?
I can see that analogy kind of working. Yeah. So yeah, you by the point you've realized that the project needs to be binned off, you've probably coded yourself into a corner, done so many hacks and whatever.
Exactly. You tried. You've done all the best to keep it in place, but then you need to just move on.
I saw that Lee Kelleher posted on that thread that one of his big things was stacked content for V8 was just thrown out. And that's an interesting one because I know a lot of people love that project. He's got a similar-ish thing in contentment. So I think that plus the block list probably sealed the fate of stack content. But it's interesting that, you know, it's everyone that this is applied to, and some probably pretty high-profile projects.
That's what remembered me about it. But Dennis, as we have you here, did you have any kind of like that journey, any Umbraco project or Umbraco work which was thrown away?
Not the entire project, but yeah, I mean, we've all been there when you've worked your way into a corner and you've kind of realized that this was probably not the best way, but I've spent so much time now on this, so I kind of have to finish it. And then it's very like brave to kind of say, okay, this is the wrong direction. I need to throw it away, start from scratch. So yeah, I've been there.
It's a time for a virtual hug for everyone struggling with the issues like that. I've sent some virtual hugs on Twitter this week, so yeah, receive it if you've been struggling with this. It's been a couple of tough weeks in some of the teams. So
as Matt has just said in the chat, this is turned into like an Umbraco relationship advice or counseling session. Everyone just it's okay.
Yeah, virtual hug, virtual high five for everyone. But not all of it was abandoned, and not everyone thrown his work to the basket. But there is some work which was delivered and really well done. And one of this work is Elastic Search. Yeah, Elasticsearch extensions. And let me just share my screen, because one of our friends, Arek, who was really doing a lot of contributions to Elastic, to examine packages, and to some headless implementations based on search indexes mostly, also contributed back to examine. And thanks to some of its contributions, we have some cool sub packages and some improvements in the examine itself.
This is Novocel's Elasticsearch examine implementation, but Arek released over the weekend, I think, a PDF indexer and an Umbraco Forms indexer, so you can work with those, and it's all pluggable, so you can just drop them in, and it will replace the Forms index with the Elasticsearch one. It looks really cool.
And as I probably said on the Gold Partner side, we had some demos from Gold Partners, Novicel, Equator, and Cold Banana, and one of these demos was also referring to all the headless implementations based on these packages and this work. So yeah, great one, and everyone can try it. It's open source, it's there, so we can use it, we can plug it in, and just have fun with searching and indexing more complex data with Elasticsearch. There were two more things, and you've mentioned Matt, who was placing some comments there, and Matt also updated a package from him, which was font awesome icons, and there is a new updated version released this week, which is 1.08 version.
I really like this package. I can't say I'd seen it, so this is perfect for when you want to create, let's say, either an icon picker or one of the fantastic examples in here is like if you're going to create a link plus an icon, let's say for building a call to action button like this, like the previous one, a call to action button where you want a link with an image, or maybe you want to control, say, color of the button. I've always done that with a nested content property, like a single nested content property that you can add, and it's just the single one. But the UI of this is way more intuitive, way cleaner. So maybe I'll have a look at replacing that on some of my projects.
Yeah.
So some icon plus some data. It's quite a nice concept.
Yeah, I haven't used it, to be honest, and when I'm looking on it right now, it's something what I should use, and we should all use to make it more user friendly. Because all what we know, it's small icon can sometimes change the experience and change some perception on the specific data element and general elements. So yeah, good work, Matt, and everyone who contributed and helped to make it shaped that way. Really cool stuff. And last on our list.
It's a boring one, but I've included this.
It's not boring. I love it. It's not
boring. So firstly, I only learned this, I think, yesterday, that that Joachim, who used to work at Umbraco HQ, Taylor Swift's biggest fan. He is the he's the head of operations or head of IT or something at this company, and
Cloud also joined this company.
Oh,
last
really?
week. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That's what I learned from LinkedIn. That's when I realized that it's all coming back all together, because it seems like they are contributing back to Umbraco ecosystem by efforts done in the cookiebot and Cybot area. Because this company,
consent management and GDPR, all that kind of jazz, which doesn't sound the most interesting, but it's nicely integrated with Umbraco as a content app and as some kind of dashboard in there, so you can manage it all through the Umbraco back office. Seems quite nice.
Yeah, we've been using this package with the custom integration and implementations all the time, but it seems like this way is a way better to just deal with it. And I can't wait. I already shared it today in the morning with the team, and I can't wait to see it in action, because it looks like a really nice integration with Umbraco, as you've said, and yeah, connecting the dots. Umbraco team members moving to this company, coming back to integrating tools with Umbraco. It sounds like just a great story and great efforts.
You can never leave the cult, the cult. Like, you can never get away.
It's not a cult. It's not a cult, as usual. Okay, and coming back to code, then we had a product update being released just before umbraCoffee, straight from Rune, and there is a lot of things highlighted in this product update. So yeah, where we want to start with?
Okay. So the headline things, of course, 8.10 release candidate. The big one that we've been talking about for a long time, Umbraco Forms 8.6, which finally removes that dependency on jQuery for validation. Although you can add it in if you still want, it's backwards compatible. I think next week we're getting a version of Umbraco Deploy 3.53, which fixes some bugs. So that's really cool. Deploy on premises.
Deploy on premise. Yeah.
And I'm so happy. Thank you, Rune. I know you're watching. I'm so happy to see it written as deploy on premises. I've been banging this drum for a year.
Really?
That's the correct name. The two interesting things in this were Umbraco Cloud. What's the next chapter? There's of course been a load of improvements with blob storage introduced for media and the new authentication stuff. There's been a lot of work there around stability, but there is going to be an announcement in the coming few weeks about what's next in Cloud. And if anyone did join in, for the Umbraco Cloud, I don't know, the post-mortem call, Kim did explain some of what this strategy is going to be, and it's going to be moving more towards core Azure services than managing infrastructure,
VMs and so on. Right?
Yeah, less VMs, more service stuff, which is going to be interesting, and hopefully we'll get some exciting new features out of it. Maybe multi-region or scaling.
Imagine static site generators being applied on the way as well to get used all the static features at some point of Azure services. But yeah, general using more services instead of machines is definitely the way to go. and happy to see that coming, and already awaiting this announcement and this more in-depth description of what's going to happen. And if Umbraco is watching, maybe it will be also good for the technical explanations. I know Morten did a lot of technical descriptions of it via his talks in the past, but for the technical nerds and geeks like us here, it would be really interesting to see what are the challenges, because maybe not all of the people realizes how challenging it is to do something like that. That it's not like just install it and just run it from the disk. It's a lot of challenges there, and maybe it would be good to understand them and maybe have more information.
One of my favorite umbraCoffee episodes from this year was when we had Morten and Rasmus on to talk about the actual architecture of Umbraco hardcore and all the graph implementation. I love geeking out about things like that, so that was fantastic. The other thing I wanted to mention whilst we're talking about this, and of course, Dennis, if you've been under a rock for a while, you may not be aware of these discussions going on Twitter, but there's been a lot of chat about moving Umbraco to semantic versioning, and it resulted in a pile on Twitter maybe of people going, I think this, I think this, I think this. So the debate is with Umbraco vNext, they want to move to semantic versioning. They want to get rid of the dependency on like major versions denoting features and marketing changes. It's more towards actual, we've broken something. And the goal, I think, is to do 2 breaking change releases each year. But they did say, we'll maybe be restarting from V1, so it'll be like Umbraco V1, and then by the end of as I said I joked on Twitter, by 2023 we're going to have Umbraco V5 again. What happens? Do we bother doing it? There's been a lot of people vocal for starting from say
V10.
V10. I know that a few people shared privately, to be honest, if we're going to do that, maybe we just start from V9. The fact that we change the version number to say we don't want to care about version numbers anymore almost makes the version number then noticeable again. So why don't you just continue from where you are? It's an interesting one. There's been a lot of opinions, but maybe obviously putting you on the spot here, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I follow the discussion on the MP Slack channel.
Of course.
We've been a lot of discussion there as well. I don't know. I don't have a huge opinion about it. I guess it's going to be good either way. But I mean, starting over makes sense. I guess from one, a lot of our clients is like, if you can't upgrade, if you can't go from the .NET framework to the .NET Core version with an upgrade, then it's probably another product. Then you should probably start from because a lot of our clients who are on a version 7 site and wants to upgrade to a version 8, we say that, we can, but it's a lot of rebuild. Then is it really an upgrade or is it a rebuild? And I guess you're not going to be able to upgrade to the core version.
No, it's been said that it's going to be a migration, much like the 7 to 8 one was, because there was a framework change. There's a framework change again. You're going to have to update your code. Lots of it won't build. So,
but this is it. Maybe it's a good thinking about, for example, NuGet console. If you're going to NuGet console and you have a suggested upgrade for your package, it's probably not the way how it should be treated, because
I had this exact problem this week with a package that a popular Umbraco package that was running on V7 and didn't upgrade to the latest version, and it upgraded fine. However, that package did not have a dependency on an Umbraco version listed, even though it did have a dependency on an Umbraco version. So I upgraded to the latest, which turned out to target V8. Obviously broke my V7 site, wouldn't boot up because all the references are different. And then it did make me really wonder about NuGet and the kind of updating process as a whole, because why should I mean, of course, what really should have happened is the package should have had a version tied to it. But why should I even be given the option to upgrade to something that's maybe beyond the kind of dependency chain of my project? I would love to say, I can't upgrade my Umbraco packages beyond a certain point, or that it warns you or does something to say, that you're going to be upgrading past a major version. Do you really want to be doing that? It's going to be an interesting time for Umbraco for sure. And there was talk on the Twitter about, give it a new name, call it Umbraco X or Umbraco, or call it something completely new. I don't think any of those are a solution. I don't think there's going to be a perfect solution anyway.
Definitely there won't, and it won't satisfy everyone. But even thinking about the best solution or the less problematic one, it's always something instead of something, and it's always sacrificing some of the approaches, and there is no perfect answer. That's why it's so challenging, and that's why we are all waiting for some kind of solution for that. Yeah, that will be code names. That might be a good. We will all learn about licorice names.
Code names has been done before. They in like V5 was it Juno, and then they had Jupiter as well. We had Bell for V7. I don't know if 8 had a code name. I know Stefan had an obsession with pigs, so maybe it was a pig of some sort.
La Cache Nouveau was the feature code name. That's what I remember at least.
The names are not my favorite, like the Mojave and Sierra and all the cookies for the Android. I've never had no idea what version it is when they say a cookie name. Or when someone asks me if I have the latest version of iOS.
So confusing. Ultimately, yeah, version names are for marketing reasons only. And one of the discussions that we were having on Slack this week about this exact thing was, macOS being a prime example. They use marketing names. No one ever cares or worries about the semantic versioning of it. They've for 15 years done OS 10 dot something, and this year they've bumped it to version 11 because they're kind of targeting a different chipset and everything. Makes sense, but they've not bragged about it. It's only developers that have noticed and cared. So it just proves that actually that semantic version doesn't matter to most people, as long as you can just talk about what you're getting in terms of features and what actually the upgrade means for the client. Your site's going to be faster.
Yeah, and if you need to upgrade or install new product or package, that's right. And all those references as well. That's if you will have information and you will be confident enough that you won't break your solution with an upgrade, and it will be suggested upgrade for you. That's all fine. But right now, it's really sometimes challenging to just you need to have a knowledge about specific packages versions to not break your site, as you've said, because it's happening and it's all up to test. That's why source control and all the versioning control is so important. Yeah. But having in mind that we were dreaming about automated upgrades of some platforms, maybe Umbraco Cloud, automated upgrades of some dependencies which are some tested and related. That's a long way behind the scenes to be done to make it all working. And versions numbers are the least important here. The process behind the scenes is probably the most important part.
Definitely interesting. We'll see what happens. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I think that I know that Philip's been actively engaging. I know Bjarke shared some of his personal views as well. Rune has been involved in the chat as well. HQ are definitely aware that there is concerns with restarting from V1, and equally have said, maybe V10 doesn't make sense. So at least it's been flagged. I think the point has been heard and it will be discussed.
Cool. Let's see. We will all see it in action soon. Callum, speaking about other things and other new stuff, you've been both talking about various things this week on some conferences as well.
Yeah. I've been back on the conference circuit for a little bit at least. Had a really busy week and just had to squeeze that in, but the next few weeks are going to be busier. So yeah, I did a new talk this week.
How was it? How was it received?
I think it went better than I thought it was going to, so that I'm happy with that. It's a talk I did on breaking up with your dev machine. So how do we move on from laptops and whatever and move maybe to more powerful cloud-based solutions like GitHub code spaces. And it just kind of showed different ways you could get started working with those. This was part of the virtual Azure Community Day, and I was very fortunate that Carol actually was on right after me, so I got to hang around and watch her lightning talk as well.
Yeah, I tried to open these YouTube links, but something is broken with screen sharing when I'm on YouTube. But I must say that I'm really envy for the outfits of the presenters on this whole event, and I don't know, Callum, if we shouldn't learn from them about it and just apply some of those stylish.
It's a good idea. So Mark Dyker, who he's spoken at Code Garden and a few other Code Patch as well. He was wearing a full avocado. I don't even know what you'd call it. Was it a onesie or a something?
Onesie,
covered in avocados. And Flora is always fantastically dressed. And they also had Bit and OctoCat, the kind of the Azure and the GitHub mascots, and they'd knitted hats for them and everything. So yeah, maybe we need to get some knitwear, Marcin.
Yeah, is it loaded? Because
it did load for a brief minute. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's call to action for all of you who watched this episode. There will be a link below the video for all those videos. Just check it out and let us know if we should think about changing to the official umbraCoffee suits.
Feel free. If you send me anything you send me, I will wear.
Oh, Callum, that's a great statement.
That's problems, isn't it? Maybe not anything. Almost anything.
I've seen one costume which you would probably not wear.
Oh, I mean, I've done umbraCoffee dressed as Santa before.
Santa is not that crazy, but yeah, it's not the topic of this episode. But yeah, those videos are out there. There is 11 hours of the event stream on YouTube.
There's more than that because there was 4 concurrent tracks. So Morten from HQ was running one of the tracks. This was the Cloud Secrets track, and some fantastic discussions were going on in that. Joachim, who used to work at HQ, obviously we discussed earlier, he did a talk as part of consent management on there. So that's awesome. And yeah, go and watch them. But we'll link Carol and my talks down below if you want to go check those out.
Yeah. And upcoming events. Let's just quickly share. There's the Umbraco Leads Christmas quiz. Is it this week, Callum?
This
is the result. Yeah, I was confused because I saw those results earlier. Yeah.
Lottie won. John came in second place, and this is a typical pattern in our Umbraco London Christmas quiz too. Lottie usually wins, and John usually comes second. So great to see they're keeping up tradition. And Phil Whitaker, I think, came third. Congrats.
Cool. And this week we have some meetings in the agenda. The December 8th meetup in Glasgow Community Group, which we were mentioning a couple of weeks straight. And there is also, is it this week? The next week? Virtual.
Is on Wednesday. And then there's the first, this is like a package showdown. I think Soren's going to show some stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. And it's in the morning for those of us in Europe. It's in the morning on Wednesday. So it's actually quite a nice time to join if you fancy it. And then the first Minneapolis meetup in a long time happening on Wednesday evening in the US.
Full day coverage.
And then Thursday, if you really want to just, stretch yourself thin, we've got our famous London Christmas.
And you have a nice graphic here.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Thanks to Clive Cooper, who's done that one. But it won't just be Ravi's insanely painful quiz. It's going to be a bit of fun as well. So come along to that on Thursday.
Yeah, and everyone can participate online. So the meetup links will be also below the video, so everyone can subscribe. And it's just a reminder for myself also to subscribe because I finally want to see this quiz in action. And there is also some events which are going to happen outside of our meetups in the Umbraco community. There is a Azure developer community.
This is so confusing. This is not the same as the one I just spoke about, but it's called the same thing with the words in a different order. This is on Tuesday, I think. I'm speaking in the same talk, so if you missed it, you can join in. There's a great set of talks, some in German, some in English. Scott Hanselman will be speaking as well. Highly recommend. turning up to that if you're interested.
Yep, and there's a new developer day conference.
Yeah,
with the schedule announced this week.
Last week we encouraged a few people to vote for this. So this is a virtual DDD event with the schedule announced. Now, a bit of insight here. Every single talk that was proposed has actually been accepted, or every single speaker who proposed a talk was accepted. They decided, because every single session had a vote, that whilst it's virtual, they can manage to run 8 tracks simultaneously. So they're running 8 tracks, and me, Pornima, and Rachel will all be doing talks. So completely free online virtual event. Some fantastic content there. Highly recommend tuning in on the 12th.
Yeah, Dennis, speaking about your developers' knowledge, are you keeping up on any other sources of the information? Do you try to watch any events or talks or stuff like that in between on your phone, as we were in the knowledge that you're not using your computer?
I've managed to take a break from code and spend most of my time with my daughter. So been full focus on her. I wanted to mention high five to Carol, who became a Microsoft MVP. That's huge.
Fantastic achievement as well, and well deserved. It's good that you're still kind of keeping in touch with what's going on, but at an arm's length, because it's important. Spend the time that you need with your new daughter. It's not really a luxury that we get so much in the UK, and always very jealous in Scandinavian countries of your kind of overly, or maybe rightfully generous systems that allow you to take time off.
Yeah, I have 7 months in total, so I have 1 more month.
Wow.
Nice. But it's also amazing that it's possible to combine it with really this digital detox kind of, because it's like it's all of us sometimes need it, and then sometimes I just want to park all of it and just go make something from wood and stuff like that. So it's good, and it's exciting to be back. And I plan to do some kind of digital detox as well by the end of this year. So that's good. But it's good. It's good also that it's all on YouTube and everyone can follow up after the period of time when it's needed.
Yeah, you got to take off an extra month, Dennis, to catch up on all the umbraCoffee and all of the conference talks you've missed.
Yeah. That's true.
I followed them.
So this is the events packed week next week, just before Christmas, just to make it done before the Christmas. And there are 2 more announcements which we wanted to combine, 2 or 3. 2. One of it is a story about the security vulnerability found in our Umbraco. I missed this story, to be honest. Where it was announced, when it was announced.
I found this on Twitter. No one has engaged with it. So hopefully this is us surfacing something cool here. Stephen, who's been in the Umbraco community for ages, he's involved in the Edinburgh meetup. He took a job maybe mid last year, moving away from Umbraco, moving more towards SecOps, and he's been doing a lot of fantastic security research over the past few years. A number of patches that have come to Umbraco, older versions and more recent ones, are thanks to him, and he's doing it all in a responsible way. It's not like he's exploiting these things and publishing them online. He's a highly professional when it comes to this, but he found a vulnerability in our Umbraco, in the source code, by running it locally and kind of diving through, reported it, and it was fixed within, I think, 3 weeks.
The whole timeline was report sent on 14 November. On Monday,
3 weeks, 3 days. Sorry, 3 days.
And Tuesday, fix was deployed. That's amazing. And that's the beauty also of open source, that you can dig out the code which is vulnerable, test it out on your local environment, expose, deliver the information how to replicate the steps. And just make sure that the fix is corrected. Yeah, good found, an interesting story. I like that in-depth disclosures and information of the vulnerabilities found.
this is a great way to learn as well by reading this, just how maybe you've made some of the same mistakes in your own code and actually you know missed a preventative step or something that might leave your own sites vulnerable. So,
but I'm curious if any kind of automated scanners like OWASP, ZAP, or things like that wouldn't highlight that earlier. That's something what I would try out.
I wonder, because I guess this is hidden behind like authentication. That's a bit more challenging.
That might be the case. Yeah, that's why it's proving that people won't be that easily replaced by machines and systems, because still you need to test some of the cases. And really good article. And last but not least, there is a new video from Paul and YouTube again.
Share YouTube. Oh, maybe you can.
Yeah, that's crazy. I cannot share a screen when I'm doing videos. But yeah, there is a new part on the tutorial from Paul Seal about searching Umbraco V8 with fuzzy search and boosting. And I didn't watch it yet, but we've highlighted all the parts before. And a good in-depth description on how to deal with search with Umbraco V8. I'm curious, Callum, if Paul touched the topic of using any of your packages, which are.
Well, I did throw them off to him and say, oh, maybe have a look at these, because they're designed to simplify a lot of the things you're going to cover. And he said, oh, maybe an like an extra video on the end or something would be kind of cool to explain all the inner workings and then explain the shortcuts, perhaps. I don't know.
Cool. Could be that's really good. And we had an insight message from Steve about Secret Santa, and we can highlight it at the end of the episode. So 46 signups this year as a summary.
That's pretty good.
Really good. So yeah, it's closed right now, and we can all await to our matches, which are going to be shipped today. Steve probably can confirm that was the message on the site. Yeah.
Very cool. I wanted to say, just before we finish up, that last week we said, oh, we've got 4 weeks till Christmas and we need 40 subscribers to hit 600. We are 18 away now. So, like, comment, subscribe. Please share it with your friends, your family, your cats, your dogs. Set up fake, don't set up fake YouTube accounts. Yeah, it would be awesome it would be an awesome Christmas present if we could hit 600 by the end of the year. So if you're not subscribed or your team isn't subscribed, why not subscribe?
Exactly. And we'll be spending a lot of time thinking during the Christmas time how to deliver this better and wider in the new year. And we'll probably discuss all of it in the next episodes. So yeah, it's not the end of December yet. I'm excited on see what is going to happen in the next week in 24 days. And that's amazing. And Dennis, thank you very much for joining us today and breaking your time in front of the computer. But it was great to see you and your article in the kickoff of 24 days. And hopefully, when you will be back and you will catch up on everything else Umbraco related, we will see more of your activity again. I really enjoyed a lot of your posts in the past and your views on specific sites. So yeah, just come back.
Let us know what you think of the block editor.
Yeah, exactly. We have a great umbraCoffee episode highlighting the powers of it.
Yeah, you are going to need to take off a month to watch that, though. It's really long.
1 hour long episode, but very, very, very good coverage of what's possible there. But yeah, let us know. And maybe in the January, February, whenever you will be back and you will be sharing some of your stuff, we'll meet again and catch up on everything else there. Yeah. So thanks again. And thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of the day and a great weekend ahead. And as usual, we'll see each other on the next Friday.